Has it really been that long? A month and a half. I guess it has. Would you look at that? The last episode of The Defining Moment was with, of course, Mr. Matt Hagen, the man who's been deemed too much for the car, too much man for the car. By our lovely Miss Caitlin Seam, and former, of course, Miss Lolita Camello, former iSports Radio member, and the creator of our logo, by the way. I'll tell you, it's been crazy to think that it has been that long. But it's all good. We're right back at it. This has been a crazy time. But I'll tell you something. We've definitely learned a lot. And we've definitely come a long way. Let's have some fun today, shall we? Here we go, y'all. We're ready to rock and roll. We're right back at it with another edition of The Defining Moment. The first one since May 18th. Today, myself and the one and only Couch Crew Chief will be talking lots of racing because, well, that's pretty much the majority of what has been going on lately in the sports world. But of course, we will be talking plenty. We got Formula One has returned in the Austria Grand Prix. Talk about a good race there. We, of course, gotta talk a little IndyCar because our boy Scott Dixon, how about him, man? Robbie Fast! Hey! Victory number 2 on the season. Oh yeah. Let's go team number 9. Also, what's another team talk about? And this team is from another racing series. And it's gonna be awesome to get on in to this certain team because we're gonna have the crew chief live here on the show in just about 10 minutes. I'll talk about none other than Mr. Ryan Sparks joining us today of team number 32, Corey LaJoie, in the NASCAR Cup Series. That's gonna be awesome. Talk to him, talk about his season so far and all this craziness going on. From what I understand, the man is a workaholic, and I'm sure he is enjoying this. And of course, his daughter just won a huge race a couple weeks ago. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that and plenty more. Also, we're talking Brickyard 400 from Indy. Well, why not? That's some NASCAR. We'll talk about how Ryan Sparks and his boys did, and talk about, of course, everything in and out of that race. We got a little NWSL coming up. We got the NWSL Challenge Cup going on at the moment. A little Premier League, a little Bundesliga, and a little La Liga coming your way. The MLS starts tomorrow. The MLS Cup, or at least the playoffs, or whatever they want to call this. We got a little NBA coming your way later on this month. The NHL still getting ready to get set, and the NFL will be returning. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to The Defining Moment right here on iSports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome everybody. Hopefully you're all having a wonderful day today. I know I certainly am. This has been awesome. We have had ourselves a great little time off here at the Defining Moment, I'll tell you. But time to get back to business. It has been a nice little vacation. I haven't taken one of those in a very long time off air, but that does not mean, trust me, it does not mean that I haven't been working behind the scenes, because my gosh, all the cool stuff we've got going on right now at iSports Radio is absolutely insane. I mean, I am loving every bit of this. We are going to have ourselves a lot of fun moving on in the future here at iSports Radio, and we are seriously we're just warming up, y'all. Lots and lots and lots of great things to come, and that's just how it's going to go. I am excited beyond belief that we are going to have we're going to have our StreamYard account set up pretty soon. We'll have that going on. We're going to have so much more. We have more merchandise than we've ever had. I am super excited. We finally got the ball rolling on that. So if you haven't already, by the way, I just want to say thank you to everybody. Can we get the applause, y'all? Because for real, thank you to everybody who has been purchasing items. Dude, you're awesome, y'all. Seriously. I mean, I appreciate y'all. I just wanted to get a couple things so that way we had some merchandise, and you guys have really been showing love and supporting us, and it's so cool getting pictures from all of you out there listening, with your iSports Radio gear on. Seriously, this is amazing to think that what we have created here, I mean, it's getting out, it's getting everywhere, and now it's like people are wearing our shirts, our hats. I mean, the coolest thing to think that, of course, all of you, the listeners, you guys, without you guys, nothing. As I always say, all glory to God. That's right, y'all, for without him, nothing is possible. And of course, big ups and thank you to all of you listeners out there, because without you guys, we ain't nothing, y'all. Seriously, we cannot be iSports Radio without you guys. So you're the ones who make this happen, and we appreciate that, and that's why we work so hard every single week. And of course, all of our guests, y'all. I mean, it was the coolest thing ever to see this past weekend. I mean, we have NASCAR car owner, team owner, Mr. Mike Harmon, wearing our shirt. The man wore to Applebee's. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, that was incredible. And we love you, Mike. Honestly, awesome stuff. Really cool to see that. Super cool to see. Of course, how cool. I mean, Mr. Robbie Fast, the man ordered the hat off of us. I mean, that was awesome to think he wants to support us. He said he got the hat, and now he's got the shirt, and he wanted the hat to match. I mean, this is so cool to have all of you out there supporting us and showing us love, all of our guests, our listeners, everybody else. So I just wanted to give a few moments there of gratitude and show you guys seriously how much we appreciate y'all. So once again, y'all, I'm applause button happy right now. It's been a month and a half since I've been on air. So one more time, I appreciate y'all so much. And with that said, before we go ahead and dive into our first break and get the infamous Mr. Ryan Sparks on the air, I want to welcome in my co-host, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the iSports Radio booking agent as well as the new host/co-host, the founder, and the new host/co-host of the Deep Stage, which will be getting underway in just about 48 hours, actually 49 hours, coming up. All of your NHRA news coming your way, and we're getting ready, y'all. The Indy Nats coming up. I'm excited for that. We're all excited for that, but check it out, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, coming at you full speed, just the way he likes it. Welcoming the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Couch Crew Chief. What's going on, Jonathan? How you doing today, brother?
Good morning, Larry. Just getting up for the podcast here. That's about all I've got going on. I'm excited for today. I'm ready to talk to Crew Chief Ryan Sparks. He's a great dude. I know we've got a lot to cover, and looking forward to Thursday. We have a lot of NHRA news to cover, so I'm all for it, ready to rock and roll here.
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm really looking forward to it. And yes, we're ready to rock and roll here on the show. We got Ryan Sparks coming up momentarily. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a lot of fun talking with him. And I'll tell you, you mentioned something before, Jonathan, that Ryan Sparks is an absolute workhorse. I mean, to think right now, he is absolutely loving every bit of his job because he's getting more raises than he's ever gotten in one time all together at once, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anybody who loves racing, I know he loves his job. I know he loves racing. and they've crammed in, got 12 races in just a couple weeks here since they went back. They've already got 12 races in, and they've got more on the way, so he's got to be absolutely loving it. Can't wait to get him on.
Oh, same here, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot to get into today. Of course, we got Ryan Sparks coming up, and then we got lots of racing to get into. As we mentioned, our guy Scott Dixon, man, him and that team number 9 got it done again, man. Doing great things there. We got the NHRA coming up this weekend, finally, for the first time since March. Oh, so excited for that. Got some Formula One actually getting underway. That I didn't even expect for us to have a Formula One season this year, but we got it back, and they're out there racing, and another good race there, and lots more to get into today, y'all. So it is another action-packed wall-to-wall hour of sports, as I love to say. Let's get with it. With that said, y'all, we're gonna take ourselves a short break, and when we get back, we'll have on the line with us crew chief of the number 32 in the NASCAR Cup Series of Corey LaJoie. This is going to be a lot of fun, y'all. Mr. Ryan Sparks rejoins us here on the Defining Moment on IE Sports Radio. Let's do it, y'all. Once again, you're listening to, as I just mentioned, let's be redundant, shall we? You're listening to the Defining Moment right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Dave the Fried Man here to tell you about the newest IE Sports radio show, the Kansas City Shuffle. We'll be talking football, reigning Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs, baseball, your 2015 World Series Royals, college hoops, college football, and much to Ryan's delight, hockey.
Oh, wow.
Make sure you catch up with us on Twitter at KC Shuffle Show. You can also catch up with my colleague Ryan the Pezquire at the Pezquire Fool on Twitter. Make sure you check us out on IE Sports Radio at 6 p.m. Central Time to 7:30.
Oh, yeah.
And Ryan, any final words for the listeners?
Yeah, come on in, enjoy the winning we've been having here in Kansas City lately, and don't be jealous. Bye-bye.
IE Sports Radio,
your direct feed for all things sports. Nope, that's not it. Cut that.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome in to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and you're listening to IE Sports Radio. If you like big, nasty hits, if you like slap chop straight to the neck, if you like it when the gloves hit the ice and the big boys get down, then this is your show. On IE Sports Radio, this is the Neutral Zone. May our shots on goal always be true and straight to the net. If they are not, may they be followed up, redirected, or change collected. Let's go on IE Sports Radio with me, your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and this is The Neutral Zone.
Motorsports takes many forms, and there's one show on IE Sports Radio that's ready to cover it all.
I sure hope you're talking about you and I, Daryl, because I know the Extra Mile is the best place to go for everything motorsports related.
Yes, it is. From NASCAR to IndyCar to sports cars to everything in between, IE Sports Radio has everything covered for the fastest sport in the world.
Plus, don't forget all of our random shenanigans along the way.
That's right, Caitlin. So for plenty of motorsports coverage and plenty of Caitlinisms, check out the Extra Mile on IE Sports Radio with Daryl Kinsey Jr. and Caitlin Seen, Thursdays at 8 p.m.
Welcome back, sports fans. Well, as promised, we are now back here with a man who has put aside some time because his level of busyness is literally, I don't know if anybody can match it right now. We have had NASCAR one race after another. I mean, who has ever seen a NASCAR race on a Wednesday? We have now. I'm just saying, I mean, Wednesday, Thursday, it doesn't matter what day it is. We've had unfortunate this year. I mean, it's a very 2020 thing to have tons of rain delays along with it. And these guys have just been rolling with the punches. And I cannot tell you the level of respect I have for these guys, especially a man in his position who has to manage the whole team, which, you know, just no pressure, right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming back for his second time here on IE Sports Radio. I'm so happy he is able to join us here today to talk some racing, of course, to talk about how his team's been doing so far, and of course to get on into, you know, some future stuff. Well, coming up for this season, I'm so excited to have him back here today to join Jonathan and I. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming, of course, he is the crew chief, the man who holds it all together, the glue, the gorilla glue, if you will, of Team 32, of course, of Corey LaJoie. Ladies and gentlemen, welcoming, of course, the one, the only, Mr. Ryan Sparks. What's going on, Ryan? Glad to have you back, buddy.
Not much. Just hanging out here on my lunch break and hanging out with you guys, talk a little racing here for the next little bit. So excited to be here, and thanks for having me on.
Hey, you are very welcome, sir. Glad to have you as well. It has been incredible what you guys have done. I mean, real quick, Ryan, the last time we talked to you, we didn't even know what was happening. We didn't know if we were going to get NASCAR back. I mean, we kind of did, and we kind of were like, I mean, it was a month and a half ago. I mean, honestly, probably close to about 2 months ago now, that we had you to the day. And my gosh, now we get back, and you guys have been everywhere. You guys have had races everywhere. Do us a favor, and please explain to these fans who are listening right now, who are very excited to have you back as much as I am, explain how crazy and how hectic, but then again, how much fun this whole thing has been for you since we had NASCAR back.
It has definitely been busy, you know, just having some races during the week and just having to prepare extra cars in a short amount of time. So we've been pretty busy, but all the guys at Go Fast Racing have done a good job staying organized and just staying ahead, and that's been a big help for sure. But it's been a lot of fun getting a race, you know, one of the pretty much the only sport on TV, and getting a lot of people's attention and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun. And like I said, I live for this anyway, so I eat, sleep, and breathe it all the time. So, hey, if we want to race twice a week, I'm good with it.
Hey,
it seems like everybody's pretty much, you know, all on board for this. Now, I know, like, when we first got back, we didn't have any fans, you know, in the stands, and we've only had a few here and there. What's that been like for you guys? I know it's such a awkward thing, but, you know, how is that right now? Really, the biggest thing for me, obviously the garage is a little less crowded, which I stay kind of hidden anyways, but you know, when you're out on the grid and you're getting ready to send your driver off, take the green flag, and they get done singing the national anthem, and then there's nobody screaming and clapping and getting ready to go. You know, that's kind of the weird part. And then after the race, you know, there's a guy who's won a race, he's on the start-finish line, and there's no fans to, like, cheer him on and celebrate with. So it's odd for sure. We're ready to get fans back, but this world we're living in right now is pretty crazy. So it's unfortunately it's more important right now just to keep everybody as safe as we can.
Yeah, I can totally understand that. So with this whole new setup, when you get to the track, what does your normal weekend look like now that once you take and get to the track and get ready to unload? What's your weekend look like now compared to what it was?
Well, obviously a lot shorter. You know, we do everything in one day now with no practice and qualifying. We're drawing for our starting positions, but we'll arrive at the racetrack and literally sit in our car until one of the NASCAR series directors calls us and allows our team to come in. And we come in as a team, so we don't interact with other teams and stuff like that. We'll unload our car and push it through inspection pretty much alone. Just to keep our social distance from everyone. So once our car clears tech, we'll put it on the grid, and typically we go back in the hauler and maybe get some lunch before the race and just kind of relax and go over the game plan. But it's been a really, really quick and pretty easy process. So I think, you know, they'll kind of lean more towards the schedule even in the future, just kind of realizing that, you know, all the extra days aren't needed, and that's a good way for teams to save money.
That actually led right into my next question, because I know that, you know, I've just heard, you know, from some boots on the ground and everything else, people talking that, you know, NASCAR is super happy with the race that has been developed from this. So I guess, is this something that they may look at, you know, on a regular basis, is kind of doing away with all the practice that they used to have and kind of make teams unload with, you know, unload and try to hit the setup right off the bat?
Yeah, no, I actually think it makes for a little better racing, because, you know, there's going to be some guys that hit it that normally wouldn't, and just the opposite for some of the bigger teams. You know, they may miss it a little bit, and you know, you're just maybe a smaller team's able to capitalize on that. You know, if they've done their homework properly and just hit the balance perfect and able, you know, to gain some spots they typically wouldn't. So you got some guys moving through the field forwards and going backwards throughout the race, especially that first run. So that to me kind of makes it a little more exciting.
Yeah, it's made for some crazy fun racing, and I know I can honestly say you've run better than your finishes indicate. There have been so many times here in the, you know, getting up towards the top 15 and just having good runs. But I also know that there have been a couple times where it's, you know, something's kind of gone wrong. So would you, you know, are you hoping to take and get back like maybe one practice session just to take and give the car a quick shakedown?
Honestly, I am totally against practice. I'd be good with showing up and qualifying and then racing. But, you know, if they decide to practice, I'm good with that. I definitely don't think you need to have 3 one-hour sessions throughout the weekend. At any short track in America, you know, those guys show up and they may have 2 15-minute sessions at max. And really, that's all you need, just to kind of dial in your heights and maybe make sure you don't have any mechanical issues. You know, that side of it would be nice, but you know, I like to know practice. It's a little bit of an unknown, and it just kind of shows who does their homework a little better than others.
No, you touched on Saturday night racing, so now that the All-Star race coming up, they're going to have a choose cone, and I'm interested to see, because I've heard a lot of fans just, you know, very split. What is your thoughts on the choose cone for the All-Star race?
I'm a huge fan of it. I grew up racing at Bowman Gray Stadium, and you know, they implemented that choose cone. Shoot, it's probably been
close to 10 years ago, if not a little more than that. And actually, the first Choose Cone race there, I was crew chief and modified for Bobby Hutchins, and we actually won that race. Everybody else wouldn't choose the outside there. It's a small quarter-mile bull ring, and everybody wanted fights for the bottom, you know. Well, we chose outside, and I think we went from like 5th to starting second on the restart. Had a good restart, got the lead, and ended up winning the race. So I definitely like the strategy and thought that goes into choosing which lane, and you're able to do something a little different, you know? Yeah, and for those who haven't heard, going to Bristol for the All-Star race, I think it's going to be an amazing track. Could be an amazing race. And right now, I know you have to come to the Open. So you're coming out, I guess Ray LaJoy is coming out with some merch here, if you want to take and go ahead and get him the quick plug for the All-Star race, Rose. Yeah, absolutely. We're searching for all the votes we can get for the All-Star race. Ultimately, we want to race our way in. We finished 12th in Stage 2 at Bristol, so I feel like we got a pretty good setup from there, and we'll keep working on the car. And I think that's a track we're able to race our way in if we do our jobs properly. So, but definitely can stand all the votes we can get. So vote LaJoy Sparks in 20 All-Star race. Absolutely. This is the first year I'll be voting for someone other than the 3-car, to be wholly honest. So I'm hoping that you can take and get your way up into the actual All-Star race. So it'd be awesome. Larry, if you've got a question, give me just a moment.
Absolutely. I gotta throw this out there, man. I'll tell you what, Ryan, we have been busy as heck, of course. I mean, not busier than you, I know that, but I mean, we've been getting so much together here at iSports Radio, trying to get our stuff going and getting all these different directions and departments and everything. But there was something that doesn't even matter how busy we got. We definitely we all saw it on Instagram, and we were all so happy, and I am bummed because I didn't get everything put up the way we did. However, I will be posting it up here later on today because it may have been a little bit ago, a couple weeks ago, but it's all good. Congratulations! That was awesome seeing your daughter get a nice victory there, man. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. She's actually my niece, my sister's
daughter.
I'm
sorry, your niece.
I get that all the time, which I would claim her as my own any day of the week. So, but we run a little mini outlaw card at a local dirt track, Millbridge Speedway in Salisbury, North Carolina, and they run a weekly show over there, and there's the field is pretty stout. You get a lot of people from the Cup Garage, their kids racing over there, and she's been on her game here lately. She's won 2 out of 4, so we're actually supposed to race tonight if the rain holds off, so we'll be going for win number 3 tonight.
That's what I'm talking about. We'll be cheering you on. Hey, you know what? I'm excited. I'm going to post these pictures up on Instagram because she deserves all the credit. She is amazing. That is awesome. And it's cool because I love it here on your post on your Instagram from June 24th. It actually says heat number 1, you started first, finished second. But how cool is this? Start 4th. Okay, you qualified 10th, start 4th, and then finish first place. I mean, honestly, you know how hard it is, no matter what. If you get the pole, it's always tough. But finding your way back, or finding your way from anywhere back, is still always a tough thing. And to think, I mean, she was able to get on up there and hold that sucker and get that checkered flag. I mean, that is awesome. That is so cool. I have no idea how these specific races work. However, I do know that racing is racing and nothing is promised. So it is so cool to see her success, and it is so cool that all the support there. I mean, you just gotta love it. So I just wanted to congratulate you and say that we see it. We are following. And yes, if you see us, quote unquote, steal a picture or two, Ryan, to post on our social media to congratulate her, don't be too mad.
No, absolutely not. We have a lot of fun with it. Super proud of her, and anytime we can get that Andy's Frozen Custard card up front and get our picture taken, we're pretty happy. But we're hoping that she'll give you guys something to talk about for years to come.
I'm pretty sure she will.
Yeah, she is. She's a great driver, and I think you have to take and tell everybody about those last laps, because it's one of those things where they went to caution over and over and over, and I mean, I could see just, you know, how intense it was for you, and I'm just curious, you know, as to, you know, what you're thinking in those moments, and, you know, just what you think and feel, you know, going through all those caution flags restarts.
Well, I tell everybody all the time that I'm way more nervous watching her race than I am calling a race on Sundays. And, you know, when you've got your own family out there, it's different. But definitely not really nervous, but more anxious than anything. Just want to see her succeed and not only racing, but everything she does in life. So, you know, big family guy here, and, you know, she has a huge support system that comes to the racetrack each and every week. So it's such a cool thing to win races and then have so many people in victory lane.
So let's say in 5 or 6 years, she gets the opportunity to maybe run like a cup or truck. Now, would you take it be hopping over for crew chief there, or are you going to keep on crew chiefing as long as you can with Corey?
Well, yeah, my main focus right now is to, you know, just keep furthering my career as a Cup crew chief. And, you know, ultimately I want to be able to compete for a championship. I've been fortunate enough to do that as an engineer in the Trucking Xfinity Series. So my ultimate goal would be to get back there in the Cup Series as well. And it seems when you get at that level, it's pretty tough to do it with family and stuff like that. So I'd probably just play the uncle role and cheer on, but I wouldn't be against crew chiefing her for sure. But we got a ways to go before we get to that step.
Yeah, I just had to ask because it was out there and it was low hanging fruit. I know crew chiefing for Corey, I'm sure that's been interesting as the year has progressed, and I know with COVID just kind of throwing a wrench and everything. How are you two maturing as crew chief and driver?
You know, we get along well. We talk a few times a week and just discuss the game plan for the weekend and kind of what he fought last year, you know, at some of the tracks and how I can make that better for him and just help him out, you know, inside the car. And I think we've done a good job at that. So obviously having an SHR connection has been a little bit of a help, but, you know, my past 6 years in the Cup Series definitely have some good notes to lean on. And, you know, I think the relationship's been good. It's been easy. You know, it seems pretty natural. So, you know, that's a good thing, and we'll just keep building on it.
Now, you mentioned your notes, and this past weekend I saw that you were going to do a quick study session there, you know, late in the evening. So what can you learn, like the night before or so when you sit down and do a quick study session? Is there anything that you're looking for? What can you learn in those, you know, a little bit before the race, or like a couple days before the race?
Well, you know, the biggest thing is just kind of going back through everybody's strategy and you know, what they fought handling issue-wise throughout the race and how the track changed and things like that. So just kind of jot down some notes, and you just want to kind of stay ahead of the track. And at Indianapolis especially, you got to call a really aggressive race because track position is the only thing that matters. And it's just really hard to pass there and everything. So, you know, just wanted to go back through and make sure I had everything tidied up on my end so I could call a good race. And unfortunately, we didn't even get to pit one time. So I guess it could have been almost like a waste of time, but we were prepared anyways.
Yeah, I had mentioned it during the break, and because it was the kind of the ultimate crew chief moment. I think it speaks to some of the difficulties that you have on pit road is, so everybody's coming down to pit, and, you know, I just hear you on the radio asking, you know, why didn't we pit? And then Pepper, your spotter, you know, chimes in that you're involved in the wreck. And I mean, even as a fan at home, I haven't even seen the wreck. So how hard is it for you on some of these tracks with some of these pit roads? I mean, how much difficulty do you actually have with this?
So Indy is the worst case scenario, hands down. It's a super long, very narrow pit road. I was in pit box 13, so I couldn't see pit stall 40 and the entrance to pit road. It's so far away, and just how
how narrow everything is. It's so hard to see. So, like I said, I had my eyes focused on the 22. He was 2 boxes behind us. I knew he was going to take right side tires, and it'd be about the time we were coming in our box, he would be leaving. So I was focused on not making contact with those guys and messing up theirs and our race. And unfortunately, you know, after he left, I realized we weren't there yet. So I'm like, where the heck are we, you know? And even Pepper, you know, he said there's a wreck, but he couldn't really see anything either. So, and then finally, about the time I looked up, I saw on TV they were wrecked. So just a bummer. I hate it. I felt like we were going to have a decent car. Drove from 31st to 26 on those first 12 laps, and he was pretty happy with the balance of the car. So, man, I guess we'll never know. So, but at least we have a good starting point for when we go back next year to Indy.
Right. I know Pocono, that had some challenges too, and that seems like quite a bit wider pit road, but you know, as late as that race went, I could hear in your voice, you know, just hear everybody talking about, you know, that sun got awful low. So what was it like racing at Pocono pretty much at night?
Well, you know, that last pit stop, the sun was in my eyes, and I couldn't even see until we got about 3 boxes away. And fortunately, we were able to pit and didn't have any issues or miss our box or anything like that. But you know, our plan there was just to run as long as we could. Just, hey, maybe they'll call this thing for being too dark at some point, you know. And it never really got to that. They didn't need to. We could still see pretty good at the racetrack, but. You know, we just want to put ourselves in as good a position as we could. So we stayed out, ran long, and then came back and took fuel only, and probably netted out 2 or 3 spots to the good from where we were running earlier in the run.
And you, like I said, it's throughout the last couple, you know, since you've started back, like I said, you've run a whole lot better than your finishes indicate. For the most part, listening in, it seems like your cars are pretty solid. You know, and your setups most of the time are pretty close. So I guess, you know, it's like the whole team has to be pretty proud of where you're starting and where you're finishing. So what are going to be the keys going forward to taking kind of capitalize on how you're running here?
Yeah, you know, this series is tough, and it can get you down pretty quick. But just, you know, telling the guys keep their heads up, stay focused. You know, everybody's doing a good job. Our cars are solid. I definitely think it's a step in the right direction from their previous year. So we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and then, you know, let the dominoes fall, and eventually, you know, things will shake out like they're supposed to. You know, when you got 36 races a year, you're going to have some tough luck here and there. So you just, like I said, can't let it get you down, and just keep digging and keep trying to find some speed.
Absolutely, Ryan. I'll tell you what, you guys this year, we're going into this week. My gosh, to think, I mean, we're just going full blast into this thing. But to think, you guys started this year's Daytona 500 in 36th place, and you guys fought all the way up to 8th. I mean, that number 32 Ford was on one that day. You guys made that thing happen, and honestly, it is awesome. And you got yourself a top 10 this year, and yeah, it is what it is. You know, sometimes it's just, you know, rough things happen, but you guys have managed this team so well. You have managed this team so well, and honestly, I'm just so excited to see you guys race every week. We're going into Kentucky this week. We got a couple more days ago, of course, Sunday and the All-Star race coming up next week on Wednesday, so a week from tomorrow. I mean, we have plenty more racing coming up, as we all know, but going into Kentucky this week, you have a very interesting track, something that, I don't know, Kentucky is hard to, you know, you can compare Texas to Atlanta, kind of. I say that loosely. And kind of to Charlotte. You can compare Michigan to California. But Kentucky's kind of tough. It's kind of like its very own type of animal. Really neat, unique track, and it's really exciting. This is always an exciting race. So, going into a race such like this, of course, a shorter time period, you mentioned you're not a fan of practice at all. Let us know real quick. Of course, going from that awesome start this year in the Daytona 500 all the way until now, getting ready to prepare for this race. I mean, I know that positive energy is always there, but I gotta ask, getting ready for this type of track, I mean, the question really is do you prepare for every track just the same exact way? Like, hey, it's a race, it's a track, we're going to go out there and get this thing done? Or we got to really, chalk talk. We got to really, really, really get into the nuts and bolts of this thing, because every track is so different, even though some may be almost the same, that we have to really get into, once again, the nuts and bolts of kind of even over diagnosing what you're going to be doing this week of strategy and everything. So I know it's kind of a heavy question, but yeah, I mean, how do you approach every race at the magnitude that we're going at, and especially different tracks, with different layouts every week?
Yeah, one aspect, you kind of approach them all similar. You always want to do your best, and the things that'll be different is we know that a car's going to handle a different way at certain tracks. So, like this weekend in Kentucky, I know that the car's going to be loose into 3, and really, if you fix that, you're going to hurt too many other areas of the racetrack. So, I'm going to educate Corey, hey, you're going to have to manage the loose into 3. It just is what it is,
Mm-hmm.
If we fix that, we're going to hurt ourselves in too many other areas. So, that'll be the biggest thing we face this weekend, and as long as you know that going in, and other than that, you just don't let that affect the decisions you make on the handling of your car, because it's easy to get lured in sometimes, and you'll change a car and end up hurting yourself pretty bad. But other than that, Kentucky's pretty much kind of like a standard 1.5 miles. It's a close setup to what we've been with, like at Vegas. We had a 16th place finish and stuff like that. So we got a decent package, and the corners load up a little bit differently than Vegas. So we'll adjust for that a little bit. But as far as approach to the weekend, it's pretty similar. Okay, Ryan, this is the last question, and we tend to stay out of politics here, but this is something that has to be brought up with everything that's happened in the past month. I know it's something that you had mentioned, just personally a while back, that show solidarity with Bubba Wallace. How's the atmosphere in the garage, and how big was that moment for the sport? I think it was a big moment for the sport, but not really for the guys in the garage. You know what I mean? I feel like we've always kind of been on the same page anyways, but I think the biggest thing it did was open up the fans' eyes, and then people that view the sport, maybe that we had a different opinion, maybe it made them realize that, hey, no, these guys, I'll stand with him and as one, and hopefully that just, change somebody else's perspective, and and just kind of hopefully we instilled some kind of positive light into someone. So
that right there is probably one of the coolest answers I've ever heard to any question like this. Is it may be a big deal to everybody else, but we've always had unity no matter what, and to me that is the coolest thing, because Ryan, you guys are out there. You already know. I know how it is. There's rivals. You get, you're getting each other's heads. The amount. I've been watching NASCAR for, my gosh, almost my whole life. And yeah, tempers are gonna flare. Yeah, people are gonna get mad at each other out there on the track. Yeah, you're gonna, see some tempers boiling over, especially at Bristol and Martinsville. Just saying, and Richmond. But I'll tell you, at the end of the day, these are the guys to work with. They're rivals, but at the same time, it's really cool when it's like, no matter what, no matter if we can't stand each other in those 3 hours that we're racing, because we can't stand each other, but they're a competition. It's awesome to think that, hey, at the end of the day, we all have one major thing in common, and that is this track and what we love to do. And to me, that is amazing. So, Ryan, I just want to say that is such a cool answer. I'll remember that forever. That is awesome. So, with that said, though, thank you so much for today. As I know, once again, you're a busy guy, so I got to study around your lunch breaks. I know if I can get on back to that garage. You guys are nonstop, and it is just amazing to think of what you guys have been able to do in these last couple of months, the fight through COVID. NASCAR has been amazing, and this year I'm just so excited, because it's showing everybody that, hey, no matter what NASCAR goes through, as long as we got people who love it and those who love being a part of it, we're gonna be just fine with the sport that we love so much. So I am so excited for what's to come. And everybody go on and cheer on number 32, of course, this week, the team number 32, of course, managed here by Mr. Ryan Sparks, driven by Mr. Corey LaJoie. This is going to be awesome. Cheer him on at Kentucky. With that said, we are so happy to have you a part of this again. We look forward to having you again as soon as we can in your busy schedule. We thank you so much again. And, best luck to your niece tonight, and we're gonna keep her on our radar, and just best luck to you guys moving forward. And whenever you can join us again, we look forward to having you. But the floor is yours, good sir. Anything else you'd like to say before you exit? You are more than welcome.
No. Yeah, thanks for having me. I always enjoy talking racing. I always take time out of my day for that, to talk about the sport I love. But in your spare time, vote LaJoie Sparks into the NASCAR All-Star race next week at Bristol. So I hope everybody's watching.
Please do, y'all. Once again, LaJoie Sparks, this is going to be awesome. We want them to be in this race, y'all. Do it. So, with that said, we're going to take a short break. And once again, thank you to Mr. Ryan Sparks. We'll, of course, have a proper goodbye after the commercial break. But with that said, y'all, stay tuned. We're coming right back with a lot more racing talk coming your way right here on The Defining Moment, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
What's up, everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you. Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Rate, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. They're coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, sports fans. That, once again, was Mr. Ryan Sparks. How about that, y'all? The crew chief of the number 32 Ford, of course, Corey LaJoie. The man is legit. I mean, seriously, he makes time for us. That was so cool. And once again, great to talk to him. And great, it's so cool, isn't it, Jonathan, to hear, like, this journey is unlike any other journey we've ever saw in NASCAR. And it's just so cool to think, like, this guy is as cool. I mean, he has to be cool. He has to, because, well, when you manage a professional race team, I mean, you know, the stress is there, but you kind of have to be cool. You have no other choice unless you're going to, you know, fail at your job. And he seems to be amazing at his job. So I gotta tell you right now, Jonathan, how amazing is it to hear him just be so cool about managing all these races? And then he says he's not even a fan of practice. How about that?
Yeah, I absolutely, I love his attitude towards it. And I know the whole practice thing. I mean, it does benefit the small teams. And, you know, so when he's mentioning that,
But, I mean, to be wholly honest, I think that is throughout the entire garage area that everybody's like, hey, you know, we're good without practice except for your, you know, just a few drivers here and there that really need the practice. I think most of them kind of, you know, echo Sparks' idea that it's like, you know what, we're done with practice. It wastes our time for the most part. And I know with him, like he had said is, you know, just talking to him personally, he had mentioned that, well, it's like he doesn't get, this is the first time in like 10 years that he's been able to be home on a Friday night. And that's stuff that you and I mean, we take for granted. We don't think of that. It's like, man, these guys, you know, regular season, they don't get days off. They might get Monday off. That's it. So they're running and running and running. So it's cool to hear him talk about it. You know, I'm so thankful that he's willing to come on and talk with us, and you know, just we'll kind of go over some of the races and some of the things that, you know, they've been doing this year. It's so cool to have him, you know, come on with us.
I completely agree, Jonathan. This has been great. It's been awesome having all the great people we've had on air with us, but definitely awesome having Ryan Sparks joining us today, and thank you once again for setting all that up. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, he is our booking agent, Mr. Cash Crew Chief, the man, the myth, the legend, as I said, man. Jonathan, you're the real deal, man. We appreciate you so much for all you're doing, for arranging all these awesome guests that we've had, man. So I just want to always make sure that you get the credit for that, because we have come a long way, sir, and you are a big part of it. So we thank you for that. And I know you're a team guy, but at the end of the day, man, he's got to single you out for a minute, man, to give you a lot of props, because we appreciate you, man. So thank you so much for this. And let's go ahead and jump into a little bit of racing here. So we got a little chunk, about 25 minutes left here on the show today. So let's go ahead and just jump on into all this racing. Of course, we have it's not really an announcement, but I mean, coming up on Thursday, we have our brand new show coming up, the Deep Stakes. This is going to be a lot of fun. Talking some NHRA. My gosh, this is my all-time favorite motorsport, and it is just going to be amazing to get into that. But before we do that, let's go ahead and just jump into a little bit of a recap from this past weekend. So first things first, Jonathan, we, of course, had on the show, we didn't, but Daryl, Caitlin, and Michael had on the show about a month ago, 2 months ago, Mr. Robbie Fast. He is the spotter for team number 9, of course, of Scott Dixon, and, you know, champion, 5-time champion, you know, just saying. And it's so awesome to see these guys win the first race of the season, and wouldn't you know it, on the 4th of July, they do it again. 2 wins, 2 races this year. That team is on one. Let's talk a little bit about that race, Jonathan. How was what were your thoughts in this past weekend in IndyCar? What do you think team number 9 did better than everybody else? And realistically, man, I mean, how strong do you see this team moving forward?
That road course it is definitely something else, and I honestly love the fact that they've built that into the schedule now. You know, just take and see them race the road course at Indy. It's always fun because it's Indy, but it's not full on Indy, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to see them there, and for them to take and go, you know, get both, you know, win both races this year, or just winning. It's great to take and be associated with people like that, and to see them doing this great stuff. And it's like, I think that we were able to talk to them, and we're able to watch them, and we're able to enjoy it, and you know, break it down and analyze it. But I mean, at the end of the day, all I can say is it's Scott Dixon. I mean, he's going to be a favorite. You know, wherever he goes, he's going to be a favorite. He's that good, and you know darn well Robbie is right there with him. I mean, to take and have the relationship that they do, they're winning. They're going to keep on winning, and so it's like when it comes to, you know, winning 4th of July, they're, you know, winning at Indy. You know what? It was a surprise, but it wasn't a surprise because it's like, of course, you know, who else would come back and do it like this? It's got to be Scott Dixon.
Absolutely. That team is just incredible. Team 9, they are really a unique team. They have, I mean, it's almost like a dream team, man. I mean, seriously, these guys, I mean, everybody, you see their pit stops are short. I mean, everyone hustles. They do an amazing job. And, of course, you have Scott Dixon behind the wheel. I mean, seriously, he's just the icing on the cake. They are incredible. He just won his 47th career victory. I mean, Scott Dixon is about as legend gets. I mean, that's just who he is. And it's the second of the season. Of course, we've only had 2 races, so he's 2 for 2 this year. And I mean, really, I don't know. I don't like to jinx anybody, Jonathan, but I'm just telling you, dude, I don't know. We might see 50 from this guy. I mean, if not, maybe early next year, of course. Hopefully we get back to it soon. But at the rate that this team is going, they just look unstoppable. They look amazing. And yeah, Indy is awesome. That was a great race, Indy Grand Prix. Of course, the road course. I like how you said that. It's Indy, but it's not. And the coolest thing is, too, I loved it how both IndyCar and NASCAR were there at the same exact time, because what was it, like an hour later or like maybe 2 hours later? I don't even know if it was like in that long of a range. NASCAR got right on the track with the Xfinity Series.
Yep, exactly. And honestly, going forward, I hope we see this more, because both sports can benefit from each other. You're going to bring in a lot of people who maybe aren't IndyCar fans, and you're going to bring in a lot of people who maybe aren't stock car fans. But if you can start getting them all together, it just helps racing in America. And right now, I'm not even going to lie, racing has, it's taken some licks here. It's not what it was. And so I think the 2 series can really only benefit from each other, doing this going forward, because, I'm looking over at Road America, and it's like, man, I've seen the Indy cars at Road America. I've seen the Xfinity cars over at Road America. If my sources are to be believed, we're going to see Cup at Road America next year. Again, this is just sources that I have. I've talked to a lot of people living here in basically in dead center of the racing world in North Carolina. I'm in Salisbury, North Carolina. I'm not far from Mooresville. I'm not far from Welcome. I'm not far from Charlotte. So everybody in the area kind of is immersed in racing because you know somebody. So if my sources are to be believed, we're going to see Cup at Road America next year, and hopefully within the next 2 or 3 years, maybe we can get Cup, Xfinity, and IndyCar all at Road America on the same weekend. That would be such a dynamite thing. I
would love that, and I think that would be super cool. Also, I just got to mention, getting into Xfinity, I mean, seriously, Jonathan, who is this guy, man? We had another Chase Briscoe victory. Stewart Haas Racing. Who is this kid, man? He is all over the place. Out of 13 races this year, he's won 5, and he had 7 top 5s. He's won 5 of the dang things, and that's 13 races. That means only 1 race he's finished outside of the top 5. I mean, that is insane. This guy is just, he's a dynamo. I mean, he looks great this year. I mean, shortened season, doesn't matter. He's all over the place, or not shortened season, I'm sorry, smushed together season, or whatever you want to call it. This guy's on one, man. That number 98 car is looking fast. They look good, and well, they pulled it off yet again here in the Xfinity Series. How about this guy?
Over the past few years, anybody who's been watching for the past couple of years, you've seen him maturing and just getting better and better. And you combine that with a team that keeps getting better and better, and they're going to take and achieve new heights. The problem is he's going to have to, he's most likely going to move up next year or the year after. So when he's moving up, that means someone's going to have to move up, because he is that good. He's almost ready for a Cup. And I always say almost, because, if you took and said, okay, print out the perfect recipe for success in Cup, it would be 2 to 3 years in truck. It would be 2 to 3 years in Xfinity. And like me personally, I'd say, if you want to see somebody who's going to do really good in Cup, they have to be like, champion the Truck Series, champion the Xfinity Series. They have to go through the hardships and learn before they move up to Cup, because when you jump into Cup, it's so easy, and like Ryan said, this sport will beat you down in a heartbeat. So it's one of those things where they have to see those difficulties, in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, and he has. He's been up and down, and he's had to fight his way through, and he's matured, and it's making a difference.
It really is. This guy is just awesome. I am so excited to see what he can do at the next level. I mean, and that's why, dang it, Jonathan, that's why I love these lower levels, because, my gosh, man, this is where you see growth. This is where you see it happen. If everybody thought that, you know, the legendary drivers, well, at least of this era, you know, just jumped in this thing. No, they had to come from somewhere. And Xfinity has been, I mean, it was the Busch Series at one point, I remember that. But that lower level, I mean, it's awesome to see these guys just come full circle. They, you know, they work hard and they make their way up there. And it is just awesome. So, also, I want to say,
yeah.
Go ahead, go.
Especially with these days, it used to be that, hey, anybody could take and buy a car and show up and go cup racing. But it's really gotten to the point where you have to enter the NASCAR ladder. You can run dirt, but then eventually you're going to have to get into like K&N, you know, Pro Series or the ARCA Series now, and you're going to have to fight through the trucks and fight through the Xfinity. You're going to have to cut your teeth there. There's a lot of people doing it, men and women doing it. We can speak to Natalie Decker, and say what you will about Natalie Decker, Angela Ruck, they are still learning. They're having difficulties where they're supposed to have difficulties, which is a truck series. But it matures them for that next step. So you go through and you have some hard times in truck, and then you step up. And you look at like a Tanner Gray coming over from NHRA. You know, he's fighting it out in the truck series, and yeah, he's having, you know, he has his difficulties too. But every step, you know, that's how you mature. And back in the day, it used to be, okay, you would take a mature on the dirt tracks, you would get your butt whipped left and right until you figured it out. And then maybe did some asphalt racing before you came to Cup. Nowadays, you do have to work up that ladder, but we are seeing some great young talent come up the ladder. And as much as even I'm guilty of giving, you know, different drivers crap through, they're having the difficulties where they need to have the difficulties. They're cutting their teeth, you know, down in the lower series, and they're learning and maturing. And I'm excited for the future of racing here in America. I'm excited for the future of stock car racing. We have a great new car coming out. We have great talent coming up the ladder. We have, you know, young men and women coming up that are going to take and learn on this new equipment, and they're going to provide some great racing going forward.
I couldn't agree more. And I love how you brought up Tanner Gray, man. Tanner Gray, I thought this guy was going to be third-generation champion in the NHRA, and he went somewhere else.
I thought it was going to be a couple fist fights or a couple more fist fights in NHRA. You know, he had a couple moments there in NHRA where it's like, man, this kid, he might be more of a fighter than a driver at times.
Hey, well, Fight Island is a brand new thing, Jonathan.
You know, it's the situation. He's feisty, and he actually races at, you know, he's raced at Millbridge Speedway, where young Cassidy Keat races. So I've seen him out there. I saw him before he made this transition when he was still up with the NHRA. I saw him out there in these little, you know, winged, you know, carts, these outlaw carts, going at it out there. So, I mean, it's just cutting your teeth where you need to cut your teeth.
Absolutely. I didn't even know that about the guy, but he is awesome. I thought he was going to be, you know, an NHRA guy, but nope, he turned the corner, went somewhere else, and he turned left, if you will. And I'm happy to see this guy succeeding. That is awesome to hear. I haven't heard his name in a couple of years. I know he turned 18, I think, in a cup car, in an NHRA dragster a couple of years back, I think, of course, in a, pro stock. And it's so cool to see him do this and climb the ladder. So that's exciting. It really is. So with that said, I also want to give some props, man. This past week, it was so cool. I guess once again, I gotta say, gigantic shout out. I want to make sure this is a clip on our Instagram, at least, so they can hear this. But huge shout out to Mike Harmon, man. This guy, thank you so much for repping your IE Sports Radio shirt, good sir. We have definitely not forgot about you guys whatsoever. We are cheering on Mike Harmon and Mark Harmon Racing this past week. Bailey Currey, I mean, unfortunately had a tough run, finishing 34th. However, they got a top 15 victory here with Kyle Weatherman finishing in 15th place after starting in 27th. So he climbed the ladder. As for Bailey Currey, it's all good. I mean, things happen, of course, but I'll tell you what.
I know Bailey Currey had a couple issues, and again, like crew chief Ryan Sparks there said, this is a humbling sport. You can have the highest of highs and the lowest of lows pretty much in the same day.
And I completely agree. It is insane how that fluctuates. And Bailey Currey, of course, being on the extra mile as well here at iSports Radio, and Mike Harmon as well. I mean, both awesome gentlemen, and you can tell Currey has so much to continue to learn, to get better, to get better with, as I think everybody does. But I mean, this guy is certainly making a name for himself. He's got this far. He's racing for Mike Harmon. He's doing great things at the Xfinity level. I mean, he's one tier beneath the big one. So it's awesome to see them, competing and doing well. And hey, I know it was, maybe not the finish they wanted for the 74 team, but regardless, hey, still a finish. And, hey, best of luck moving forward. I know they got a race coming up in 2 days, of course, for Kyle Weatherman. I'm pretty sure he's going to, continue doing his thing as well. And once again, we just want to show you here lots of support from iSports Radio to Mike Harmon Racing. They're doing great things over there, and I'm really excited to watch them race that 74 and that 47.
I do have to mention this because it was a Mike Harmon Racing sponsor. Charlie Daniels passed at the age of 83 yesterday, and he was tied to the Mike Harmon Racing team, and he had sponsored them with his charity, several times. So I know that hit really close to home for Mike and Karen and the whole team over there. Obviously, as a musician yourself, it's sad to see one go, but it's definitely one that just kind of want to send our thoughts out to not only Charlie's family, but out to the whole Mike Harmon Racing family too, because like I said, he was intertwined with their organization pretty tight, so it was hard to see.
That is definitely not something easy to speak about, because I mean, the man was a legend, and that's all there's to it. You want to talk about true legends? I mean, my gosh, Charlie Daniels. The name just says so much, and all you can think of is the hat and the fiddle. I mean, seriously, he was one of country music's biggest stars, and in my opinion, one of the biggest stars of the entire century and in the history of the world.
And to think, it's like, Charlie started, by playing with Eric Clapton, and people forget stuff like that Charlie had been around for such a long time, and he started out as, supporting in the band, and to see what he did and all the great things he did. And again, we're going to leave politics out of it. Just, all the charitable stuff he did, everything that he did for, the troops and everything else. It was hard. It was one of those hard moments, but it's, like I said, I wanted to bring it up. I wanted to mention it because, we are hurting, as, music lovers, but also, think of the Mike Harmon family, think of Charlie's family, think of it all. It's just no hard loss. I had to bring it up there. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good, man, because he definitely deserves his props. Of course, Mr. the legend Charlie Daniels, and of course that's super cool. I didn't even know that about him with Mike Harmon Racing, so that is so cool, and is very exciting to see. Just all of the love. I mean, it sucks that it's terrible that he passed, but it is beautiful to see that when, unfortunately, we all got to go, but when that time comes, the love you see from those who are just who just knew them as a person, not as just anything else. We can sit here and say this, and that, as him being an incredible, fiddle player, him being a legend in country music, but to know somebody as a person beyond that, I just think that speaks so much more in volumes, and I'm sure that's exactly where Mike Harmon Racing is with him. So it's amazing, and I just we send our deepest condolences to the Daniels family and to everybody, of course, family and friends of Charlie Daniels, and rest in peace, one of the legends of the earth, in my opinion, because there will never be another Charlie Daniels. So, with that said, we will be moving on in to the next race here, which is pretty cool. We got, of course, Kentucky coming up here, the Shady Rays 200 coming up on Thursday, which is a perfect segue, Jonathan, because, well, on Thursday we may have some Xfinity racing going on, but we also have something else going on, man. We have the premiere of our brand new show here. We love NHRA so much that Daryl was even cool with it, because, of course, Daryl, not stepping on his toes, but he covers all things on four wheels, basically, over on the Extra Mile. But we just wanted to go a little bit deeper into the NHRA, and, well, we went so deep that the name of the show is The Deep Stage. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. over there on the East Coast with Jonathan. This is going to be awesome, y'all. The Deep Stage, we are starting things off with a little bit of NHRA action. We got the Indy Nats coming up here, of course. Why not Indy? Okay, coming on up here. This is going to be a lot of fun, Jonathan. What can all of these fans expect? And what are you looking forward to for this show, man?
Man, I'll tell you, there's so much involved in the NHRA throughout the entire ranks. It was one of those just talk with you, and we were blessed to talk with John Force. You were blessed to talk with John Force.
Oh, man.
We got to talk to Matt Hagan, and it just felt right that it's like, this is it. One from a reason that I think we both loved, that it was like, it's time to take that next step. So I think, people can expect, I want to keep it a shorter show, because NHRA is fast, and I want it to be fast. I want it to be, come in, you get your news, your notes, you find out what's going on in the world of NHRA, and hopefully get in a couple driver interviews here and there, but really just take and kind of cover the NHRA and all the stuff that's going into it right now. There's so much news coming out of the NHRA. I mean, I can't wait for Thursday. It's like I want to start dropping everything right now, but I want Thursday because it's big news. It's big news, and if you are even just kind of interested in NHRA, you're going to learn quite a bit from this show. We are going to go through, and we're going to, kind of dig into it like nobody else has been doing. We're going to dig into it. We're going to take and get these personalities out. We're going to tell some of these stories that I love to tell. I love to tell the personal stories, so I can't wait for it. I'm excited for Thursday. I hope everybody tunes in.
Me too. Taryn, by the way, in the chat room, big ups to you, brother. Thanks for tuning in, man. He says, I love Charlie Daniels. Definitely down to Georgia as an all-time favorite for me. Well, same here, buddy, and thank you so much for tuning in, brother. He says, I'll hopefully be tuning in on Thursday. I have an early shift that day, but I should have a lunch at 10 a.m. Pacific time, so I should be tuning in. So, hey, man, we look forward to having you and all of the NHRA fans out there looking to get some big names and just looking to, just the names of the NHRA. They're all big. I love them. I enjoy it. I still got much to learn myself. I'm learning from the guru himself here, Mr. Jonathan. Of course, he's modest and he'll say he's not, but the guy knows his stuff. What can I say? Definitely knows more than me. So, that's why he's the founder of this show, and I'm super excited to get this thing going. We have so much to get into, so much to talk about, and I know it would be fun to get into a lot of those things right now, but we don't want to spoil it and everything. But just make sure to tune in, y'all. Once again, Thursday, 1 p.m. on the East Coast, 10 a.m. over here on the West Coast. On Thursday, coming up in just 2 days. Actually, we're just under 48 hours right now, so we're excited for that. We're going to have a lot of fun with that show when we get to it on Thursday. Speaking of all these awesome shows, this has been a huge week. We had lots coming your way. I mean, IE Sports Radio has just evolved. I mean, my gosh, the amount of shows we have now everywhere we are. Hopefully you enjoyed Fast Break with Dontarius Locke and Mr. Davidson Crooks on Sunday. Had a great discussion there. Basketball all day long. Catch them Sundays at 5 Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Then on Monday, yesterday, Let's Whine About Sports. Mike was whining last night about all his favorite sports. Of course, lots of going on in the DMV as well. And I think he talked about, a certain quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. Of course, catch him every week and his delicious glasses of wine. I am really, really starting to want to try, because every time I listen to that show, I just kind of want to try wine a little bit more. So thank you, Mike. Anyway, he's the chief editor of our blog here at IE Sports Radio as well. So show him some love, y'all. And he definitely puts on a great show. Then, of course, today, you are here with Jonathan and myself on The Defining Moment. Later on today, oh boy, you can catch Pesquire and good old, you can catch Pesquire and I said, what do you call it? My gosh, sorry, y'all. Got a message. But a little distracted. But you can catch Mr. Pesquire as well as the guy who just made himself a legend at IE Sports Radio with his incredibly hilarious, yet very informational primetime face-offs on 3 and Out. The guy's the real deal, man. Dave Friedman. He'll be joining us. Well, they'll be kicking off their show tonight, the Kansas City Shuffle at 4 p.m. Pacific time. 6 p.m. actually, 6 p.m. Central Time. So we'll always make sure to put those shows in their time. Some fun stuff there. Of course, then we got Gloves Off tonight. Finishing us off. We're starting things off tonight. Then, of course, we got the Kansas City Shuffle in the middle, or shall I say we're starting things off this morning / afternoon. And then late night tonight if you're on the East Coast, or, evening time-ish if you're on the West Coast, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Catch Marcus Love's great. I know he'll be talking about Fight Island, hashtag in Dubai. I mean, this is going to be awesome. I mean, or in Abu Dhabi, I believe. I'm not quite sure. I know they bought the freaking island, and they're going to have fights on an island. That is crazy. So that's pretty cool. So UFC is just doing their thing. I know we're getting some boxing coming up. Linares and Fortuna coming up in August. So finally getting things back to normal in the fight world. Catch Mr. Marcus Lowe's great coming up tonight. Once again, 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern time on Gloves Off. Tomorrow we got a double dose of Taryn. He's usually on tonight, but I think the man's got to work. Or I think he had to, of course, he had to move his schedule for today. They'll be welcoming yet another, Taryn is like doing it, man. The guy is just getting all kinds of coaches from all kinds of places.
He's a workhorse, man. Let's just put the crew chief tag on him. Taryn is our workhorse. He takes care of everything. We couldn't appreciate you more, Taryn. My God, the amount of stuff you do, I couldn't even imagine.
He really is, and honestly, he helps. I gotta say that as well. Thank you for saying that, Jonathan, because man, it's true, man. Taryn's a real deal, man. This guy helps me so much with everything. He helps us out with everything we got going on here. He helps me out with just getting the posts and everything up there. The guy is all over the place, holding down his full-time job, doing everything he does. So thanks a lot, Taryn, for everything, man. We appreciate you. And, he'll be on tomorrow. He's got another coach from Irvine Valley College, as a matter of fact. Pretty cool. And this is the women's basketball head coach, as a matter of fact, which is pretty neat. We're looking forward to that. Ryan Windish, I believe. I don't want to butcher his name there, but him and Killer Whale, just awesome Twitter name. I'm just saying, awesome Twitter handle. But Mr. Jack Stafford and Mr. Taryn Rodriguez will be talking, of course, tomorrow to this coach's brand new coach, as a matter of fact, at Irvine Valley College of the women's volleyball team, Mr. Ryan Windish, I believe, and he will also be back on right afterwards. That's at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then we'll have right after that the premiere of our brand new Southern California sports show. We had so many freaking sports that, well, we just have to put them all together. We're doing the regional thing now, where, of course, we're branching out to cities and having fun there, but there's just so much going on in Southern California that, well, gosh dang it, we're going to combine all Southern California together, and Taryn's going to bring it to you, y'all. So, the premiere of the SoCal Supreme Sports Show with Taryn Rodriguez coming up 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be awesome. Make sure to check that out every Wednesday, y'all. And then, of course, next week we got starting our brand new Seattle show, the Seattle Boom Sports Podcast. That's going to be a lot of fun with John Boston. John is a cool guy. He's been on 3 and Out before, talking about his Seahawks, and he'll be talking all things Seattle sports. 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time, of course, every Wednesday starting next week. We also have another premiere coming up next Monday. The Shy City Weekly will drop, y'all, with AC. He's excited to get that thing going in Chicago. Mondays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern, and of course 5 p.m. Central Time. He'll be bringing that to you on Mondays, just before Let's Wind About Sports. Anyway, with that said, on to Thursday. No, not what it seems this week. However, you will catch myself and Jonathan on the Deep Stage, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Catch us there. We're going to have all kinds of fun, y'all. You don't even know. It's going to be a great show, and it's going to be well, hopefully not as speedy. I mean, we want to talk. Well, definitely not as speedy as a Top Fuel dragster, but it's going to be a fun show. Nothing too long, but it's going to be awesome. We're going to have a great show every week. It's going to be fun. We're going to bounce around a little bit. Jonathan, his work schedule rotates a lot, and we're just going to pretty much do our best to do live shows, but if we have to do pre-recordings, we will, if another show is on at that time, but be looking for that, of course. But this week, we got a live one coming up on Thursday. So, then on top of that, Mr. Daryl Kinsey Jr. returns with Michael Ward at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 8 p.m. Eastern for the Extra Mile. They'll be getting into all things racing, of course. I got some NHL ready to talk about, as Jonathan and I will be talking about earlier that morning. They got some NASCAR. They got Formula One, which we're going to finish out with in a few moments here. And we got some IndyCar going on here. We got all kinds of cool stuff going on in the world of motorsports, so get ready for them. At 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, bases loaded on Thursday. Get ready, y'all, following the Extra Mile. We've got Brandon Buckingham and H-Town Blake Henley getting ready to talk some baseball. We finally got a freaking season, which I don't know. It's a season. It's 60 games. I get it, but I don't know. I don't really know how I feel about it. I just kind of wish we would just wait till next year, but whatever. It is what it is. At least we're going to get some kind of baseball, and I guess I should be happy about that. Beggars can't be choosy, right? So at least we got something. Thanks, COVID. But at least we got something, for the year in baseball, so I'm happy to get that. No minor league, which irritates me because I want to go see my minor league team, but whatever. It's cool. Well, hopefully things will be back next year, God willing. So catch them on Bases Loaded tomorrow night. Should be a great one. I'm sorry, Thursday night should be another great one, and we will also be starting to utilize StreamYard just as they do pretty soon for all the shows. So make sure to catch them, though. They do a really good job on YouTube and right here on Spreaker.com. Then on Friday, catch Mr. Gabriel Montoya coming back, talking some soccer. Got lots of soccer all around the world right now. So 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern for Soccer Scoreboard Show on Friday. Then you can catch Mr. Robert Kavanaugh, Fridays, 7 p.m. Pacific Time, 10 p.m. Eastern, with the Neutral Zone, talking tons of hockey. I have no idea what's going on right now with the NHL. I mean, I thought we were getting it back. I don't know what's going on. I don't know when the tournament's going to start, but hopefully soon. So Robert will have all that awesome news for you. And then, of course, heading out the week on Saturdays, down in H-Town, y'all, 6 p.m. Central Time. You want to catch him. Corey Walker, man, this guy is awesome. Does a great job, and had 2 shows already in the books. Does a great job, phenomenal job talking all Houston sports, and he even branches out other places, but he always keeps it Houston affiliated, and it is awesome. So I think it's a great show, and we're looking to add, y'all. We got in the works right now. We're trying to get together a ton of shows, y'all. A Boston show, a Charlotte show, a Dallas show. We have so many shows in mind, y'all, for all the major cities. And we're just going to keep on rolling with that concept, y'all. I think we got something cool going here. So, with that said, well, I know we got something cool going here, so we're excited about that. So, yeah, that was my, 10 minutes or so of just throwing out the station. So, sorry about that, everybody. But, this is going to be absolutely awesome. Thank you, by the way, right? Taryn in the chat room says you got Ryan's name right, so thank you. And yeah, man, hopefully we get the Soccer Scoreboard Show back this week, Taryn. I hope so. So he's got Friday off, so hopefully you can enjoy that there, man. So with that said, there we go. As for all the other sports, because we're going to end with Formula One, but as for all the other sports, look, quick and dirty, and we can just run through this, Jonathan. Okay, look. The NFL, we have a shortened preseason. I love the preseason because, well, that's for guys like myself who fight like hell to get their name on the board, or at least on the roster. We only have 2 games this year. Kind of sucks, but if that's the least of our worries, then hopefully that's the least of the worries. Please, God. I do not want to shorten the season. I don't want none of that nonsense. As for college football, we don't know what's happening. Jonathan. We don't know. We don't know if we're going to have a freaking season this year. I heard Feinbaum talking about if we have a season in the winter. I mean, are you serious? I mean, in January, I mean, I know, I coach as well at the high school level on varsity, and well, our head coach is talking about maybe possibly they're thinking about doing football in January as well, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. We might have a shortened season in November. I don't know how all the high schools are working, but I do know that college is possibly going to do it and there's an option of doing it in January, and they were like, well, if that's the case, the NFL's not going to change anything, so you're not going to get any of the seniors that are coming out or the juniors that are looking to come out. So that's going to be kind of ridiculous, but I don't know what's going on there. The NHL, I still don't know anything about that tournament. The NBA is starting in a couple of weeks, and guess what? we don't know who's going to... Well, of course, we've got guys opting out of that thing because they're like, I don't want to play in this thing. And MLB, same thing. There's already players that are like not going to play. The MLS is starting tomorrow, the tournament, and there's already players that are not going to play. And the NWSL Challenge Cup is probably the only awesome thing going on right now besides motorsports, because a lot of those teams are still playing. They're doing their thing. We've gotten some... we'll get to that next week, of course, when we get back here on air. But this is a great tournament that's going on there. But with that said, Jonathan, that was just a quick little sum up of everything going on. Of course, soccer leagues around the world are going on. Next week, we'll get more into that, and we have more time. But, Jonathan, go ahead, man. Tell us a little bit about your thoughts on all, or if any, of those sports and any of the direction you think they're going in right now and the players not playing. And what do you think about all this?
I'm just thankful that we have sports to look forward to. They're coming back. You're going to have sports without fans. They're going to trickle in. Seasons are going to be adjusted. Things are going to move around. But as a sports fan, I love the fact that sports are coming back. And the players are going to have to make personal decisions as to whether or not they want to play, whether they want to put themselves, in quote-unquote danger. It's a thing that I'm not going to say we've never seen it in history, because it always repeats. There's been pandemics and stuff like that, but the one thing that will always remain the same is everybody has to make their personal decisions about it. So whatever your athletes, whatever your favorite athletes decide to do, just support them, because they've got families too. They're making the choices for them. We each make our personal choices, so you know what? We just got to roll with it. We got to hope we can get back to quote-unquote normal. We have to just hope that we can enjoy the sports as they come. And I look at it as though it's celebrate the sports that you got. Look for the people who are playing. I mean, even Mike Tyson is coming back to take and fight in a Legends boxing thing. So there's good stuff happening. There's sports happening. Love it, and just enjoy as much as you can.
I totally agree with you there, Jonathan. By the way, Darren in the chat room, I mean, super cool. I think Mike Tyson coming back, man, that's amazing. But Darren in the chat room says, if there's no college football, how is Larry and I supposed to question why Trine got a top 25 vote after losing to Hope 51-0? Okay, Jonathan, really quick, dude. Okay, I know you're familiar with the coach's AP poll in every sport in college.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, last year, when Taryn and I were having one of our shows that were just sporadic, but we had, like 10 shows total, I think, for College Edition. We should have had way more than that, but just like my schedule was all over the place. But we were doing a show, and we're looking at Division III. And in the top 25, there's a school named Trine. Trine. I don't know if it's Trine or Trine, I don't know how to pronounce it. But they got a vote.
Yep, I know the name Tryon.
I mean, are you familiar with where it is? Because I don't know where that is, Jonathan, but...
I have no idea where that is.
Okay.
It is... Larry, it is Division III. For all we know, this could be in the middle of Montana, where there's like 10 people in town. Let's be honest. That's just kind of the way it is.
I completely agree, and I think I know your answer now for what you're going to say for this, but your reaction. But come on, man, that was Darren's lovely impression of the "come on, man" in the NFL, because Jonathan, these guys were the top 25. And we looked at, Taryn happened to look down on the page, and in the comments it said, wow, how to try and get a vote? Like somebody put like something funny, like, wow, somebody's a homer, or something like something funny, because they literally put like who voted for Trine? Because Trine...
That was the AP poll, right?
Yeah.
That was the AP, not the coaches poll. Because I'm going to tell you something, Larry. If we're going to get into college football, I'm going to say it straight out. Take the AP poll, crumple it up, throw it out. Because there's a lot of homers on there.
I believe it.
If you honestly want to know about the football teams. Look at the coaches poll when it first comes out in the year.
Yeah.
Because that's when the coaches have had the time to break down film on everybody else that they face. And they're voting for teams other than their own.
Absolutely.
They're the ones that are telling you these are the teams that are good. So take that AP poll, throw it out. As much as I hate to say it, I'm a Bama fan. I love Bama. Roll Tide. But the reason why they're in the top 3 or, always number 1 in the AP poll is because they've always been number 1 in the AP poll since Nick Saban has gotten there. It's not because they're that great. When you don't have a great passer, guess what? It's like when you go back to Blake Sims. He was not a great passer, but we were somehow number 1 on the poll.
Yep.
Excuse me? I'm sorry. The only reason we were number 1 on the AP poll is because we were Bama. Roll damn Tide.
I agree. I completely agree with that. And I don't know if it was the AP or the coaches, somebody, but if it was the coaches, somebody's gone mad. But it was hilarious because freaking crap, Jonathan. Gosh damn it. Trine was in the top 25 and they had just gotten blown out 51-0 by Hope. The week before they got blown.
Do you know why they got that vote?
Somebody's a homer.
They got that vote because it wasn't 72-0. That's why they got that vote.
They got the vote for making it closer than they thought it was going to be. They beat the over-under.
The spread was probably 90 points, and they made it in 52. So that's why they got the vote. There's your answer, Terrence. We put it to bed. That's why they got their vote.
Oh, that's hilarious. Poor Trine. I'm sorry, Trine. But Trine says, Terrence says Trine is in Timbuktu. Now, then he put, being real, Trine is in Angola, Indianapolis. Okay, well, that works. Thank you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Angola, Indianapolis.
Angola, Indianapolis.
Okay. I have no idea where that is.
Me either.
I have no idea where that is.
My bad, Trine. But Terrence says, I subbed the clip. Larry said, somebody's got a friend, somebody's got a buddy. Yeah, I think that's what yeah, there you go. Because, yeah, that was ridiculous. But anyway, so with that said, we're going to finish things out here, Jonathan, with a little bit of Formula One. Because this past weekend, man, how about it? Formula One gets back underway. And
that was such a crazy race, and if Max Verstappen had not had an issue, I can guarantee you that things would have turned out a lot different because he would have been pushing the Mercedes. Because the Mercedes, they were the class of the field. I mean, Daryl and I'm sure you can look back where Daryl and I are talking, you're in that chat, where it's just like, Mercedes is a class of the field. They're just whipping everybody. But if Max was there, he would have been pushing them, and they were having enough issues that, the team leaders are telling them, stay off the curb, stay off the curb, stay off the curb. If Max was there, he would have been fighting them so they couldn't stay off the curb, that they would have had to abuse those cars, and there's a good chance they would have failed. And guess what, Larry? We get to do it all again this week. So I am excited for it. I am here for it. And I think Max is going to take and push those Mercs. If his car holds together, he's going to push those Mercs and see exactly how reliable they are.
Okay, I didn't see the race whatsoever, so I want to know, number one, what happened to Max, number one. Number two, we're going back to Austria, or you mean to do it again with another track? And number three, where is Hamilton?
So Max, he had a car failure. I forget the exact issue on his car. I think it kept going into anti-stall. So, he had issues where it's like just couldn't run. So he wound up, he was done. And so we are going back to Austria. The entire broadcast are like, we're coming back to Austria next week. So guess what? We're Red Bull Ring. Here we are, ready to rock and roll. Let's do it again. And we're going to abuse those cars because they have some mighty, mighty big, harsh curbs to hit. So they're going to be hitting them. And if Max's car doesn't drop into anti-stall, he's going to push them. As far as what happened to Lewis Hamilton, so he was running second. Valtteri Bottas, by far, class of the field, better than Hamilton, which makes my heart happy because when somebody is as good as Hamilton, sometimes you just want to see him get knocked down a peg. So as they're racing, coming in, closing down the laps, there was some massive contact with God, I forget who he had contact with, but he initiated contact because he was being passed. And he initiated contact, so they gave him a 5-second penalty. So then he was trying to outrun that 5-second penalty, and he didn't. So even though he finished second on the track, 5-second penalty, boop, 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 dropped him off the podium.
No.
And part of me smiles because there's so many times that, FIA, F1 officials have looked the other way when Lewis has done stuff like this. Because he's an aggressive racer, and he's initiated contact, but most of the time the FIA just says, well, it's racing. It's Lewis, he's a champion, you kind of got to give the champion his line. That's just kind of how things are in FIA. That's the politics of the sport. But they're saying, nope, you're going to race by everybody else's rules too. That's just my opinion on it. I mean, everybody can hate me if they want, but that's my opinion on it. And he got the penalty. He deserved the penalty. It's you have to give the man his line. If he's passing you, especially when he's ahead of you, you cannot initiate contact and send him off in the gravel.
And that sucks. Wow, that sucks here. But he's going to crack at it this week. That's cool. We're going back to Austria. And that's going to be pretty sweet. By the way, the other Silver Arrow got it done. I mean, surprise, surprise, right? Valtteri Bottas gets his 8th career victory in his first of the season, of course, as we've only had one race this year in Formula One. And, he took the checkered flag in the Austrian Grand Prix. So awesome. Congratulations to him. And he got it done. And silly me. How could I forget? Of course, we started with NASCAR, and that's what we're going to end with, of course, because...
Wait, I have to touch one thing on F1.
Okay.
Before we go, I have to ask the question, and I'm going to ask the question every chance I get. How does Romain Grosjean still have a ride in F1? This guy seemingly, there's something wrong. There's something wrong, and I know he's got all sorts of, he's got a lot going on. He's talked to, sports psychologists and everything else. When he was at Lotus Renault F1 team, he was showing promise, and this guy has just tumbled and tumbled and tumbled. And I think it's only fair that we ask, why does he still have a job? Because when you watch, the behind the scenes with the Drive to Survive on Netflix and all that, it's the team doesn't even like him. It's like, why is he still there? Because he's obviously not getting the support, and he's obviously just no longer the caliber of driver that's needed. I feel bad for him because I was a fan of his, and to see him tumble like this, it hurts to see it. And just being the American team with Haas F1, I'm ready to move on. I need a new driver to root for because he's not helping the team, and the team isn't helping him.
That sucks to hear. I remember hearing everybody, Daryl, Caitlin, Lolita, and Michael, like last year, talking about Drive to Survive and how they were just, he is, it's bum.
And regardless if you're bringing money or not, if the team isn't supporting you and you're not supporting the team, and for whatever reason you seem to have alienated each other, I'm going to keep asking, why is he there? Because if the team doesn't want him there, it's time to go. It's just do right by the team and do right by him too. It's a difficult conversation to have, but I have to have it. I have to ask it. Why are they still doing this? Why is he still doing this? Why not just say, you know what, this isn't working out anymore?
That really sucks. I know he is a amazing driver. I know that they're a great team, and he started out good, but when it comes down to amazing drivers, well, I guess he has fallen off quite a bit.
This is, and just to make a parallel, if you remember Lane Kiffin over at the Raiders,
I remember that.
when he knew he was out, and everybody knew he was out. It was just like they were just waiting to, do the deal. So it's like he knew he was done. They weren't supporting him. He wasn't supporting them. It was just a disaster, and it gets up where you walk Janikowski out there for a 63-yard field goal. That's essentially what's happening over at Haas F1, and it hurts to see that it's like, it's time, just do it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, you hate to, sit here and try and be the bearer of bad news to try and throw everything out there, but it's already out there. I mean, that's all there is to it, Jonathan. And that's, change is needed, and that's all there is to it. Best of luck to both in their directions, the team and the driver, in my opinion. So,
hopefully the issue resolves. Hopefully, Grosjean can find a place that will support him, and he can support them. It's like I said, I hate to bring it up, but with F1 and seeing it happen week after week after week, I have to ask the question. I have to be fair to the situation because they're not being fair to him, and he's not being fair to them.
I agree, and we're going to get back to that next week.
So let's move on to NASCAR. I just want to take and do a little bit of cleanup here from the Ryan Sparks interview. Go to CoreyLaJoyRacing.com/merch, MERCH. I'll make sure to tweet it out. Go there, pick up your LaJoy Sparks 20 t-shirt. This is a vote that I think we can all agree with. Let's get Corey LaJoy into the All-Star race. Let's get Ryan Sparks into the All-Star race. Let's go have some fun at Bristol. Let's use a choose cone, and let's go wild.
I am going to do it right now because I want these guys to get there. They have earned it. They're awesome. And I really want to see them. I want to see them do their thing right now. So absolutely, and great transition into NASCAR because this past week, man, was something crazy. I mean, we're talking about a wild race. I didn't see this either, but I'll tell you what, man, the Brickyard 400 delivered, and what a wild race it was. Kevin Harvick, 53 wins. That's a great number, Kevin. I'm just saying. It's the winningest number I wear in football. Awesome number and great victory for him. 4th of the season. He does it again, man. Kevin Harvick will get the victory at the Brickyard. Gets to kiss the bricks, and what a race. I mean, Jonathan, what about this race, man?
It was a great race. When I watch Indianapolis is a lot like Pocono, that it can be a complete snooze fest. It really can. Indy had good passing, it had good action, and these cars had great closing rates, they had great drafting. You had a lot of slingshot moves, you had slide jobs, you had everything that you could want from that track. Because this track, I mean, it is one where it's definitely built for Indy cars. It's built for those long drafts and those sudden cutouts. It's those slingshot moves, and really depending upon aero. So it's like they had a little bit of everything, and Kevin Harvick showed that it's like aero played a big part because he passed guys on the outside of turns, and that's where in IndyCar, in the Indy 500, you will not see passing on the outside. So, as much as I'm not a huge fan of the track, you have to give them their due. NASCAR hit it with this package. There was good passing. There was good action. To see cars passing on the outside, granted, it wasn't a lot, but it's more than you're going to see it in the Indy 500.
It was a great race. I'm excited, man. I wish we can get another Brickyard. This year that was neat and really cool to see Harvick do it again, man. This guy has just asserted himself near the top.
And that's where, being a Richard Childress racing fan, I keep asking, where was this Kevin Harvick when he was at RCR? Where was the try, the push, the drive? It's like he has found a different level as he has aged and matured, and I have to say he's actually matured. It's like for years, it's like I didn't think it was possible, but he has, and he's found it. And I got to give the guy his due. I mean, he's knocking her out of the park. And when it comes down to champions, he's going to be right up there. This year he's going to be fighting for that championship. And obviously they were showing that Denny Hamlin is going to be right there with them too. It was hard to see Hamlin have that tire failure and that be the end to that day because he had the car of the field, and Harvick just, in a way, he got lucky. Hamlin's bad luck was Harvick's good luck. It was a hard thing to see, but that's the way races work. It's not always the best car that wins the race.
Total unfortunate there for Hamlin, man. The lead car, was that like the last lap, I think, or like right around the end?
Yeah, it was with like 7 to go, I believe, is when he had his.
Gosh.
Because then they took him on straight to overtime, and I mean he hit the wall a ton. He narrowed that car up a lot, and I'm taking an old Gerald Waltrip saying of just narrowing the car up. He did that. Car, the front end was about a foot narrower than the back end. He hit a ton.
Oh, man. Well, tough for him, but at the same time, he is 5th place in the standings right now, courtesy of the official NASCAR app. Denny Hamlin rounds out the top 5 right now with 528. Ryan Blaney with 534, looking good there. Also, we got a Toyota and a Ford, another Ford. Brad Keselowski with 549, currently in 3rd place. Chase Elliott with the Chevy, the lone Chevy in the top 5 with 552. And of course, as we just mentioned, he's won 4 races this year. The guy is on one. Kevin Harvick leads the pack with 637 right now, and he's looking good. That team is looking great right now. The number 4 team is looking great. So, and real quick, too, before we end off, we're just going to make it a little solid here, like pretty much get close to the hour, if you will, because it is what it is. But, man, I just got to ask, number 1, because, well, you're a fan of this team, one of these teams, and number 2, it's just fun to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, we are officially, my gosh, where are we at, 3 weeks away? Yeah, we're 3 weeks away. Yesterday, from 3 and out, 8 divisions in 8 days. I'm excited because, well, it's just going to be a lot of fun. We are going to definitely have lots of great fans. We're going to get all 32 teams again. And lots of fans, lots of fun, and we're really gonna, hit it with NASCAR, with the NFL this year. I had to steal a little line there from Jonathan, because we're gonna hit it. This is gonna be a lot of fun. We got all 32 fans last year, and we're gonna do it again this year. We get ready to jump into another NFL season. Hopefully, we get it, and we don't, get postponed or delayed or canceled because of this epidemic. But I'm excited because 3 and Out will begin. And, well, on the very first day of 3 and Out, 8 divisions in 8 days, we start with the division where the champion's in, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs. Speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, the guy signs probably the biggest deal, I think, in all of sports, from what I saw. $503 million contract for the next 10 years through 2031, so that is amazing. He is definitely... He definitely earned it, and the guy is without doubt an athlete. But there's one more little thing that I just wanted to point out there that's pretty big in the world of football. And that, of course, well, is the recent signing of Cam Newton to the New England Patriots. I know it's a little bit of old news. I jumped on it the minute it came, or like right when it came out, but we haven't had a show since. But I'd like to get both of your thoughts on these here, Jonathan, but more in particular of Cam Newton, because, well, he was on your team his whole career over there playing for Carolina, but now he's on to New England. Of course, we've seen Tom Brady earlier this year move on to the Bucs. I mean, we got some moving pieces, and then the Chiefs feel they have their franchise quarterback, delivering them the first Super Bowl since Super Bowl freaking 3. Okay, like, what was it, 1970, 1971? So, Super Bowl 4. So I'm going to say it's been a very long time for them, but no, they think they've got their guy. So, what are your thoughts on both of those moves there, Jonathan?
Okay, first off, I grew up in the shadow of Lambeau Field.
Oh, I'm sorry, but no, that's right. You are a Packer, but you live over there. You live over there in the area. Oh, sorry about that, Jonathan. We got a little disconnected there, but okay, one more time. Sorry about that.
Okay, so first off, the Panthers are not my team. I grew up in the shadow of Lambeau Field.
That's right.
And if I talk to the Packers, I'm going to wring their necks, because how do you draft a quarterback in the first round when you already have your quarterback? Anyways, moving on. So, the Mahomes deal. It is great that he is signed up and locked in for 10 years. But the problem is the same one that the Packers have with Aaron Rodgers. You pay him all that money, but now who are you going to have around him? Because where's your money? It's in the quarterback. So they have to make sure that they surround him with great talent right now, because on the backside of that deal, it's going to get awful darn hard to keep great talent around him. All is well when you have good draft picks, when you're picking high in the draft. It gets pretty slim pickings when you're picking at the end of the draft. So, the Chiefs, I hope they can make sure that they always have talent around Mahomes. It's something the Packers weren't good at with Favre. It's something that the Packers aren't good with Rodgers, that they're just not surrounding them with talent, so I hope the same isn't true with the Mahomes deal, because you give that much money to one man, it's going to hurt the entire team. As far as Cam Newton going up to New England, I've said it before, I honestly don't think Cam is going to be the answer anywhere. I think he's going to be a backup quarterback at best. That foot injury, I can tell you straight out, that foot injury is terrible. Having talked to somebody with that foot injury, they said straight out, there are 3 people in the nation that work on that foot injury. 3. And it's been 3 years and they have not yet recovered from their foot injury. So for Cam Newton to come back with that foot injury and say, yeah, I'm ready to rock and roll, I don't think so. Because as good as he looks on film right now, his tapes that he's putting out, that's all great and well when you can think about every step. Because you can make sure you're not going to put pressure on that foot that it's going to cause pain. You can plan your steps on film. When it comes to game time, are you going to be able to do that? Are you going to be in pain? Are you going to be able to run and scramble the way you want to? Because if you're not, that means you are going to have to learn to be a pocket passer. And I don't think Cam has that.
Wow, there you go, man. That's right. So once again, my apologies. Like, at least I know you slightly kind of follow them because you live in the area. But that's right, you are a Packer fan. So I'll tell you right now, man. I agree. I think it's going to be hard for him because that theory is going to be nagging. I love to see him in a Patriots uniform. Exchange scenery is always nice. He's going to be working with Bill Belichick, in my opinion, one of the greatest coaches that ever coached the game. Say what you will about him, but the guy's awesome. And this team needs somebody back there. I know the youngster Smith he looks pretty darn good. Is he good enough for the starter? I don't know. Stidham, everyone's kind of talking about him being the starter. I mean, maybe he'll step up and get it done. Newton, I kind of feel like he might start.
That's going to be a big test for Belichick, because even when you look and go, okay, so if Cam is looking like the guy, that shoulder isn't even proven. And the doctors, you can listen to any sports talk show there is, when they talk to the doctors about shoulder surgery, it is not yet a science. Knee surgeries, they've pretty well got down. The Tommy John surgeries, they've pretty well got down. When it comes to the shoulder, there's so many muscles involved, it is still not a science. So that shoulder is still suspect. Again, on film, you can plan it out. You can think about your mechanics. You can plan out exactly how you're going to throw that ball. But in a game, are you able to do that? No. And that's what worries me about Cam. Is as good as he ever was, he was never a great pocket passer. He was a great quarterback in the fact that he played to contact. He wasn't afraid to run. He was Cam, and he's a fantasy beast. But is he going to be able to say, you know what, I have to be a pocket passer and be the pocket passer? Is that shoulder going to hold up? Is the foot going to hold up? There's too many questions there. Belichick has his work cut out for him. If there's any coach that can work around it, it's Belichick. I mean, he is that good. But this is his ultimate test. If he can make Cam look like Brady, he's on the best coach that has ever lived.
I agree with that. He's got quite a task in front of him, so that's going to be exciting to see. So I like both of your opinions on that, though, Jonathan. You're right. It's kind of tough. I mean, I know Patrick Mahomes is that good, but it's kind of tough because you start giving that kind of money, and well, you kind of need more weapons. I mean, you're going to need weapons, and I know the Chiefs are full of weapons right now, but long term, who knows? Hopefully that works out well for them. We'll see. But contracts are always a tough thing. The cap, of course, cap space and everything. I know it's always tough. And then, of course, we got Cam Newton. I just think, who else do they really have to turn to? He's got experience. Stidham, I don't know if he's ready to start. Maybe he is. I think they'll go with Newton, but we'll see. Once again, it's all up to see right now. We got to see what's going to go on in the preseason. We're already 2 games less now because of COVID. So they only got 2 games now to kind of get through training camp, and I don't think it's training camp as a whole. Training camp's going to continue. From what I understand, training camp's going to start at the end of the end of July, the way it is, and it's just going to be a rigorous training camp of them hitting each other for 2 weeks longer, hitting the same color, and then they get a chance to go hit another color in the preseason with only 2 games. But as far as I'm concerned, we got everything that is supposed to go as planned. But this year has thrown so many curveballs that even the MLB is got shaken. Everything did. So we're just hoping everything kind of just comes back to, what it was. But with that said, y'all, God be with all of you. I just hope you all stay safe. We can get rid of this dang pandemic once and for all, y'all. So with that said, Jonathan, anything in closing? That was a fun show today, man. It was great talking to Ryan. Ryan Sparks, of course, the crew chief of the number 32 Ford in NASCAR, of course, of Corey LaJoie. Awesome interview with him, and always great talking to him and what he's got going on over there. But Jonathan, anything before we get out of here, man?
No, I think we pretty much hit on just about everything I can think of, plus a little bit more. Like I said, I'm just ready for sports to be back. I'm ready to sit down and watch some baseball. I'm ready to watch Ty Buttrey start throwing the ball around a bit. I'm so excited to see these sports coming on back in whatever capacity they come back. I'm not even a basketball fan, and I'm ready to watch some basketball. So I'm ready to get back at it. Can't wait, and I can't wait till Thursday. I can't wait for that opening music. It's one of those things where it's just it's a new show. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be fun, and I'm ready for it.
Me too, man. This is going to be a lot of fun. We got the deep stage coming up on Thursday, and Jonathan and I, just two big NHRA fans coming together to get more into it. I'm learning more from this guy, right? I'll tell you, this is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have ourselves a great one, and got so much to get into coming up. So I'm ready to go. I know Jonathan's ready to go. And that's how we're going to do it. So, stay tuned, y'all. This is only the beginning here of our, as Marcus says, Taco Tuesday, eSports Radio. He messaged me last night, was like, you gonna jump on Taco Tuesday, Larry B? Oh, this is only for one show this week, but we just kind of get in where we fit in right now with the schedule, with my schedule, your schedule, everybody's schedule, jumping all over the place and everything. But, I don't know. It seems like a comfy spot. We might take Tuesdays. I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
I think we need to rename it Terran Tuesday.
Yeah, no joke, man.
It needs to just be Terran Tuesday and let Terran do, all the amazing stuff that guy does. I'm so amazed by all the stuff he does, and he's right on it.
He is, man. And once again, it's a big shot to Terran, man. Rodriguez, our statistician. Our statistician, or however you call it, statistician. He's going to start booking pretty soon. I think he's been booking his own people. So, Jonathan will show him the ropes there. This guy just does a lot. He helps out with all the posts. He's the head of our PR. The guy does a great job. He works directly under Jonathan, and the guy he's just a phenomenon. So we greatly appreciate you, Mr. Terran, and thank you for everything. And thank you guys for tuning in every single week. We couldn't appreciate you more. And Terran says, I will have Set Point back on Tuesdays, maybe next week. All right, cool. Sounds good. Well, there you go. So we got a lot coming up, y'all. Of course, Terran and myself will hope, well, we don't know how it's going to go. I mean, if we don't get college football back, then I guess there's no show, which I'm bummed because I was so optimistic, and I even told Terran, like, no, the show will go on, and, well, it might not. So if we do get the show back, pray to God, hopefully we do get it back. The actual start date, the season 2 premiere will be on August 25th at 12 p.m. Pacific Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. It'll be a 3-hour show, as you know. We'll be talking everything. CCAA, college, junior college, California junior college football, that is. The NJCAA, the rest of the country, junior college. We'll be talking the NAIA. We're talking NCAA Division III, Division II, Division 1AA, the FCS, and Division 1 Single A and the FCS. And the FBS. We have so much to get into with that, but we will see how that goes, and hopefully we get it. If not, well, as Terry said, I guess maybe high school football, maybe CIF at least here in California. We'll see how that goes, but we'll find out how everything goes, y'all. So that will do it for today. Jonathan, as always, man, it's an honor being beside you here for this show. Thank you so much for all you, and we really have ourselves an awesome team here, and we're just growing, y'all. So stay tuned. 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Central Eastern. You can catch the Kansas City Shuffle. We'll start Mountain Time in there, 5 p.m. Mountain Time. But check out the Kansas City Shuffle with Mr. Dave Friedman and Ryan Pesquire. They're talking Kansas City sports coming on up today. Always is. Fourth episode, I believe now. And they're rocking and rolling, making some awesome promos and everything. And, of course, you have later on tonight, Marcus Loves Great will close us out with Gloves Off. I told you they're y'all in Abu Dhabi. That's what I think they are. But they bought a freaking island, y'all. It's Fight Island. Yes. It's going to be fun. We're going to see it. We're going to have, there's lots of great stuff there in the Fight Combat Sports world with Mr. Marcus Lowe's Great, answering your questions, talking boxing, MMA, talking everything with combat sports. The guy's the real deal, y'all. Bellator, everything. So, with that said, y'all, that'll be that, Taryn. Great show, Larry and Jonathan. Peace and blessings. Hey, thank you once again for all you do here, brother. Thanks again, man. Appreciate you. Peace and blessings to you and your family as well. And that will do it. With that said, Jonathan and I might be back on this time next week. We might not be. I know his schedule kind of jumps around a lot, but hey, we'll see how it goes with the defining moment. Moving on forward right now, the future of the show is not uncertain whatsoever. We're going to keep it going as the flagship show of IE Sports Radio. However, it's just kind of jumping all over the place right now. We got to find a good steady place for it. As for the deep stage, due to the show jumping around, or due to Jonathan's schedule just rotating as it does for work, we will either have it recorded, or if we can get it where we fit in live somewhere, well, we'll see y'all then. So, with that said, y'all, please come here from Couch Crew Chief and myself, Larry, and that will do it. With that said, y'all, I miss saying this because it's been about a month and a half. Terrence says almost 2 months to the day. Let's get it on, y'all. Here we go. Let's bring it on home. That's right, y'all. With that said, that will do it. It's been a fun one. And we will see y'all next week. Hopefully, on the Defining Moments. But we're definitely going to see you guys in 2 days on the Deep Stage here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will see y'all then. Take care, and as always, God bless.